So it's good to be here tonight. Thanks for coming. I want to tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit about what I believe in, and a little bit about why we're going to win this seat back. So first and foremost, I'm a father. I think some of you that were at the kickoff met my wife, Sue, wife of 20 years now. And if you met her, you know what a wonderful person she is. And we have two kids, Kate and Connor, 12 and 14, and my wife has homeschooled these kids for the last 7 years and done a wonderful job with them. And they're in high school now, or my daughter's in high school now, doing fantastic. And I say first and foremost a father because I've grown to love the New Hampshire advantage, and I'm concerned my kids are not going to have that New Hampshire advantage. And also the country as a whole. So that's what's motivating me to run. As Frank said, my background is military. I spent 12 years in the Air Force, active duty, another 4, well, 8 if you count my college time in the reserves. I was an Air Force pilot, flew KC-135s as an aircraft commander. Yeah, I was 12 years old. No, I
look like 12.
I have gray hair right there. So 12 years active duty Air Force, aircraft commander. He threw me off my track. So, aircraft commander, and I flew combat support operations in Iraq, or in support of Iraq, between the Gulf Wars, Bosnia as well, and Somalia. So saw a lot of action. During the night I started to take PhD classes. I had gotten my master's by then, and I got picked up by the Air Force Academy to get my PhD, finished up my PhD, and became an associate professor at the Air Force Academy, where I taught young men like him. And it's good to see you here tonight. And I am older than him. I was teaching people like him a few years ago. But yeah, so I taught the Air Force Academy. It was a real honor and a privilege to get to teach and to fly with our future leaders in the Air Force. So that was a real pleasure. I got the opportunity, because of the research I was doing, to become a partner in a business. So I left the Air Force in 2003 and became a partner in a small aerospace company. We tried to get BAE to use us. That wasn't successful, but we've gotten other people to use this. So this was an LLC, and I invested $70,000. I left the chance of getting retirement and a pension. Invested $75,000 into this LLC. In the first year, we made $20,000. So I understand the risk that LLC owners take when they do this. And I gave up the government security where, like somebody pointed out, the government jobs are paying twice as much now as private sector. I gave up that security to be an entrepreneur. But it was successful in the subsequent years, and I made unreasonable compensation. I guess the DRA would rule now that my compensation was not reasonable because it was over $50,000. So they tried to take that from me. So that's my business background. But I do want to say that the thing that has really motivated me politically is that when I was a kid and in college, studied Russian, Soviet studies, and I went to the Soviet Union when I was 5 years old. No. When I was back in 1984 and 1986, I went to the Soviet Union and spent a significant amount of time there, talked to the people, really got to know the Soviet Union, and it was such a tragedy. It was such a tragedy to see when government controls everything, what that does to the people, when you lack freedom. The poverty that you saw there, the dejection you see in people's eyes. And so when I came back from that experience, I really fell in love with my country and the principles it was founded on: free markets, constitutional government, limited government. So that's what's instilled in me a great love for free markets, and I spent a lot of time studying free markets because of that. So that's what's motivating me to run. Now, why we're going to win is it comes down to one issue. There's going to be one defining issue for this campaign and campaigns across this country, and that is, what's the problem? Is it we're not spending enough, or we're spending too much? Is it a spending problem, or is it a revenue problem? And Kathy Scambody last month in an op-ed piece said spending's not the problem, it's revenue. We need more revenue. Down in D.C., they're taking that approach, and Rich talked about that, about we need to spend our way out of this recession. That's the wrong answer. We have to be more frugal. We need to leave more money in people's pockets so that they can reinvest in their companies, hire new people, and get the economy going back again. So I responded in an op-ed, and I'm happy to report it was published this morning, both in Foster's and in the Union Leader. So please pick up a copy of that. And I started to look at the numbers and look at the government spending. And we're spending $8,000 per person in New Hampshire. We're spending $12,000 per person. This is state and local, is $8,000. $12,000 per person at the national level. Add that up, That's $20,000 per person, my family of 4, the government's spending $80,000. How in the world are you supposed to have an economy that's vibrant when you're spending that much money? So spending is the problem, both at the local level, the state level, and the federal level. And we have to get spending back under control. But the legislature's gotten us into such a bind that we have to make drastic cuts just to balance the budget. So, but I think we do need to go further. We need to repeal a lot of the taxes that have been passed. Well, it'd be nice to repeal all of them that have been passed, and that's going to take even more serious cuts. So it's going to take new ideas, new leadership. Some of the ideas that we've come up very shortly are buy power. The state should buy power off of competitively off the New England power pool. Right now, they go to PSNH and pay the rate that you as a homeowner would pay. The estimates are that we can save 20% on electricity by doing this, up to 20% on electricity by doing this. Another thing we should try that was almost passed, but didn't get passed, unfortunately, is school choice. Okay, if you offer vouchers or tax credits to families, that gives them more options. They can choose a private school if they want, tutoring, and it reduced the cost because the voucher or the tax credit is for less than the $13,000 per student we're paying here in New Hampshire. That brings competition, improves quality, and at the same time reduces cost. So that's another idea. Also, we should look at state employees having health savings accounts. In my business, we pay both sides. We pay the employer side. We are the employer. We are the owner. We pay both sides of the insurance. So when we started to look at it, it made sense to switch to a health savings account because you get lower premiums, you get more catastrophic insurance, and then you get a tax deduction for anything you spend out of pocket. So we were able, our business was able to save a lot of money, and the state could save a lot of money by switching to health savings accounts. So there's just a few ideas, but I think it's going to take new leadership, and it's going to take new ideas in order to cut spending back and get our economy going, and Kathy Scambati has neither. So I really hope you'll join me and support me for New Hampshire Senate. Thank you.